There's a fire burning inside every investor who truly wants more insight, more certainty, more power to break free from the noise. It's a fire that won't let go, even when markets shake, even when advice comes flooding in from every direction, yelling louder, promising more. You know that feeling, stuck between wanting to trust your instincts and needing to guard every step like your life depends on it, because it does. You're drowning in information, but starving for meaning. The endless graphs, opinions, numbers, they blur together. They don't answer the one question that could change everything. Why? Because no one asks the right question. Investors chase trends, data points, hot tips, and metrics that glow fancy on the surface. Yet beneath it all, the real question, the question that cracks open strategy and reveals the soul of smart investing, remains unspoken. It's easy to forget how ruthless this game is, how the world around you seems rigged to sell comfort and conformity, to dull your edge, trap you in the illusion you must follow the crowd to survive. But you're not just anyone. You're here because somewhere deep down, you refuse to settle. You despise the mediocre spin. You hear a different call, one that tells you to shake off the chains of old systems, broken rules, and tired thinking. You want a question that cuts through ego, bias, noise, and lets you see the core, where risk meets opportunity, where clarity crashes through confusion. This question is not about market cycles or the latest headline. It's not about when to buy or where to sell. Those are answers anyone can scratch the surface of. The one question that great investors always ask, day in, day out, is about something far more raw, far more human. It's about truth, about reality, not the version sold to you, but the one underneath, where real power lies. That question, the pivot on which everything hinges, is, what am I missing? It sounds simple, too simple for those drowning in technical jargon. But don't be fooled. This question is a magnifying glass, a scalpel, a door all rolled into one. It's the difference between being a passenger swept by tides and a pilot steering through storms. Great investors stare it down relentlessly, because what they're really after is perspective, on risks lurking in shadows, on opportunities disguised as threats, on blind spots even the smartest people refuse to see. Ask it once, and the walls start to crack. Ask it constantly, and walls collapse. Everything you thought you knew must be questioned. Every assumption is a target, because blind spots kill portfolios, destroy legacies, and shatter futures. Yet most are too proud, too comfortable, too caught up in their ego or routine to do it honestly. They settle for the story that suits them, not the brutal truth. This question forces you to go deep, to look beyond the charts and reports and listen to the whispers that data can't tell you, to face what you don't want to admit, to reject the illusion of comfort and lean into the uncomfortable truth that your edge isn't in knowing everything, but in recognizing what you don't know and moving with courage anyway. The pain here is real, because admitting you're missing something feels like shaking your foundations. It feels like vulnerability, when the world demands invulnerability. It feels like standing naked on a cliff while the storm rages. But it's exactly there, in that raw moment, that power is born. This is the only way to dodge the traps, to avoid the herd, to build something resilient. Because every market crash, every failed investment, every burnt portfolio was once a blind spot ignored. This is why top investors have this obsession, not with certainty, but with curiosity, relentless, ruthless curiosity. They do not settle for surface-level answers, because surface is where the herd lives. They think differently. They see differently. They ask themselves every day, what am I missing? Then they search for answers where others don't even look. And that makes the difference between winning and losing. Now, here's the truth about this question in practice. It demands brutal honesty with yourself. It demands humility paired with fury. A fury against your own complacency and the world's lies. It demands patience, because the most valuable answers don't come quickly, don't come loud, and often don't come at all unless you keep asking. You don't find what you're missing in the comfort zone. You find it at the edge, in uncertainty, in the discomfort that tells you your current view is incomplete. This is where opportunity lies, in the cracks of what's known and the gray of what's unknown. Great investors don't just answer this question once, they build a system around it. They surround themselves with people who challenge their views, who cut through their ego, who shine light where shadows hide. They read contradictions, they embrace conflicting signals, they expose their ideas to fire and let only the strongest survive. This question isn't a one-time tool, it's the heart of a discipline. If this feels difficult, that's a good sign. It means the work you're about to do is worth it. Because breaking free from illusions, breaking free from the rules that cage your mind, that is revolutionary. This is how you start to see markets not as places to guess and hope, but as ecosystems where every hidden force, every unseen risk, and overlooked advantage line up. The power of this question multiplies when paired with a mindset that refuses to follow the crowd blindly. When investors resist the temptation to clutch at easy answers linked to fear or hype. Instead, they uncover unknown unknowns, threats and chances buried in plain sight. This is how they build asymmetric bets, how they protect themselves better than insurance ever could, how they seize windows no one else sees. Look closely and notice what missing piece has cost the most pain in your journey. A deal overlooked because due diligence ignored one key detail. A sector avoided because of assumptions harder than concrete. A trend dismissed due to rigid thinking. These weren't random slips. They were blind spots breeding silently. The great ones evolve by hunting those blind spots with the question, what am I missing? This is also an invitation to unlock real connection. Because one person's blind spot is another's insight. The movement you're part of isn't about following rules. It's about forging powerful alliances where rare brilliance blends, where individuals refuse to be boxed by limited thinking and instead link up to redefine reality itself. The smartest, rarest, most effective investors thrive in collaborative, radical honesty. They cultivate environments where what am I missing becomes a shared quest rather than a lonely battle. They embrace difference because in opposing views lies the fuel for transcending any limitation. This question also demands patience, the enemy of those chasing instant wins. It's about playing the long game so well that you see what others miss, waiting through storms when others panic, listening longer when others shout. It separates those who burn bright and fast from those who sustain a fierce fire through every winter. So, what is the hardest part about asking, what am I missing? It's accepting discomfort as growth, failure as feedback, uncertainty as opportunity. It's battling the comforting lies that keep you small and obedient instead of bold and sovereign. The world wants you to stay quiet, average, regular, because that's easier to control. But this question cracks that lid wide open. For those who dare to ask it, who dare to live it, life stops being a scripted play and becomes a canvas for radical creation. Your investments stop being guesses and become deliberate moves in a game only the brave understand. You stop serving false hopes and start serving endless possibility. The one question great investors always ask is your secret weapon, the key to owning your reality. It's the question that shatters illusions, dissolves complacency, and sets free the individual ready to redefine the rules and win on their own terms. Ask it often. Live it ruthlessly. Surround yourself with those who ask it too, because the future belongs not to the comfortable and compliant, but to those who stare into the abyss and keep asking, what am I missing? Until the abyss gives up its secrets. This is your path from fragmentation to power, from noise to essence, from illusion to freedom. This simple question is the quiet rebellion that builds legacies, the spark that fuels extraordinary, the gateway from surviving to thriving. Hold on to it. Let it consume you, because nothing will change until it does.